Well, yeah, when it went live, because you were there when we went live. So I don't know. Good morning, JD. How you doing?
Hey, JD. I got to call you so you can tell me about this Blue and Gold and Blue Productions. So I have to remember to do that next week. Crystal,
Good
congratulations on your
morning,
new
Crystal.
home. Hey,
Yeah,
Crystal.
congratulations. That is
Amen.
wonderful. That is awesome. Buying a house.
Baby,
I'm telling you that
amen.
experience.
Uh,
Good morning, Derek. How you doing,
Derek.
man?
Hey, Derek.
What's up, everybody?
What's up,
What's
Derek?
going on?
Derek, are you offset? Are you guys wrapped? Have you guys wrapped the production? So interesting thing. I don't know if you follow Derek on Facebook, and we tap in and out of Facebook. It probably like me just tap in and out. But Derek and them were shooting a scene, and they had to dig up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Derek. They had to dig up like burial plot, and in this
Found a
field, and
body.
they found a body.
Yeah,
That is crazy. I don't know what I would have done.
I don't either, man. I was like,
That
dang. When I read
that
that, bruh, I was like, yo,
what a crazy thing. Then then as filmmakers and writers and stuff, we start thinking, who was this person? Where's their family? Did they have children? Have they been searching for them?
yeah, we
Did the
start
family?
thinking everything. We're like, man, how do we? Yeah, we
Yeah.
rap.
Did
Okay,
one
so
of the
he said we
family?
rapped. They rapped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What if the
man.
mom committed suicide because the person was lost and they were heartbroken? You know what I mean?
It's a
It's
lot of
so many.
factors. Yeah. Whew. Mm. And you start thinking about the backstory of every person and situations and stuff. You know, that's
Yeah.
the beauty of creatives and writers and people that we start creating or speculating or coming up with, what if or what if this happened stuff though. That's the beauty of
Exactly.
it. But maybe it makes us empathetic. You know what I mean?
You
Like
know it. Well,
some of us.
some of it, but not necessarily empathetic because you start to feel empathy because you're feeling sorry for the person and their family and who was looking for
Hmm.
them. You know what I mean? How long they've been missing, if they had children. So you start thinking about those other factors in regards to trying to make sure I'm not on a delay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm like on a split second delay.
Nah, you're not delayed. I think
Am I
they
not?
just responding because if you're on a delay, I'm
No,
on a
I'm saying I'm
delay.
watching my mouth move.
Oh, I was about to say, nah, you all right to
I'm
me. I
watching my
mean,
mouth move. Exactly,
uh,
Crystal.
yeah. So, I just want to talk about some stuff because I personally am going through some things, different
Hmm.
things, whether it be work, family, my passion, everything, and you tend to try to find a moment to deal with it. Because last week we talked about dealing with the stresses of pursuing your dream.
Hmm.
And for me, good morning, Thomas.
Hey,
It's
Thomas.
it's one of those things because okay, so I'll give you an example. Um, Said the FBI found animal parts and I think other bonery parts around where we were shooting out mass gravesite. Oh wow.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh God.
Um,
Oh
Thank you, Derek, for
Jesus.
sharing that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. So to get back to um,
Hmm.
kind of mental health, and I kind of see it more now as a creative that the stories we tell can be very impactful.
Hmm.
Um, we as Black people have dealt with a lot of trauma. Let's just be real. And we deal with outside trauma and internal trauma and environmental trauma. And what I mean
Hmm.
environmental is your home, your family, that stuff. And then you, what you're dealing with, coming in terms with those different traumas and then even becoming yourself, even as a kid, right? And it's hard because you have to learn to face some of those things,
Hmm.
and I think our creativity allows us to do that in some ways. Um, it's interesting because we don't. I'm going to give you a perspective. Black men. I think black men are becoming either somewhat forgotten in a sense, or to right or wrong of imbalance. Right. I always believe that our problem is we always go to an extreme versus the balance. We always, instead of, if we spend too much time over to the left and everybody goes, we've been left too long. All right, everybody go all the way over to the right. And then the scale tips again. Right. And then we're spending too much time in the right and we're not enough time on the left when we should be in the middle, balancing things out. Right. Balancing people. Black women have gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff. And so we now focus a lot more on black women, where black men are getting the shaft in a sense. Instead of, let's focus on us and the family. Let's focus on the equally, balance it out. And so those movements, those things happen. It's not saying there's not a place for everything. It's a place and time for balance. Because I think in creating an imbalance, we overlook what trauma black men are dealing with and have dealt with. And then we're not talking about it as much. And then when we're saying, because I saw this meme, it was this girl, it wasn't even a meme, it was a post. There's a picture of a post that became a meme where this young black lady said, I've been trying to get this guy to be vulnerable to me all this time. And when he finally decides to be vulnerable to me and he cries, I lose interest in him.
See, okay. Oh, keep talking. I have so much
as a filmmaker, my mind starts turning to make movies about this, because when I got in, part of me getting into it was sharing a man's perspective in film, because I always want to balance things out. And the only way to counter that balance is to show the other side just as well as the other side and say it happens both ways. Men are abused like women are abused. And I'm not saying a lot more men are abused than women. There's more women in society, so that's kind of impossible. But men go on silent. Men don't speak about it. Men have been raped or sexually abused as well, but we don't speak about it. And so I was always like, let me tell these stories, of men who've done it, so people can say it happens to them too. Wow, we all need to start talking about this. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all need to start talking about this. And it's not to take away from anybody, but it's to encourage people and encourage a balance to level us out as people, because already in a society we've dealt with racism where someone else is telling our trauma at our expense and profiting. But we don't talk about our trauma, and we don't tell our stories, and we don't help find solutions. You're not going to solve everything overnight, And so thinking about that as a filmmaker, because I'm seeing everything that's happened, played out in the last few weeks, right? And I don't want to talk about all those things because that's not what we're about. But what I'm saying is, as a filmmaker, I want to hear everybody's side, and I want to hear what everyone's going through, because the whole world is traumatized. There we go. Yeah, it is. I mean, with COVID, we're dealing with it, right? But we're not dealing with it. It's like mental health is a buzzword. Social emotional learning is a buzzword. These are buzzes to get more profit, more money, but they're really not. Let's solve this real problem. Let's really deal with it. Because I always say, if we really cared about mental health, why do we go to work 5 to 6 days out of a week? Instead, there's 7 days in a week. Why don't we work 4 days and people are off for 3 so they can be with their families? Why don't we make sure that people are spending time with their family to encourage families, to encourage relationships within the family? Why are we doing this? But why is everything we doing is about profiteering off of people? But we're not benefiting the people we're profiting off of. That's what society is to me. And so as a filmmaker, because we have to think about scheduling shoots, we have to think about the stories we're telling as well, right? And what people are going through as individuals and what they've been through. And so Jada say, loves your hair, TK.
Long story, Jaden. We'll talk later.
So I just, that's just me thinking about all that I'm going through, all that I'm processing, currently today and yesterday and this week. Like I got family news yesterday, so I'm processing it. Um, I'm thinking back to, how often I saw family members. I've had, so now within, I guess, 2, 3 weeks, I've had family members die, and you start to process that again. Um, it's dealing with it, especially people you've been inspired by,
Mm-hmm.
people who have added to your life. I had a great aunt. Like I said, she believed in me and what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad and I were talking because it was it was his godmother. My great aunt is his godmother as well as his aunt, my grandfather's sister. And she edited and wrote a foreword for my first book of poetry. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then my mother's sister died yesterday. So my aunt, her younger sister, died, who was an artist herself, painted, sculptured, did clay, made dolls. My mom have them in her house. And my mom would try to encourage her to use her art and make money off of it, do well. Because my mother's oldest brother was an artist as well in California.
Oh,
So,
wow.
um, we have artists in our family. My older brother's an
Mm-hmm.
artist. We all have an art in us. You know, it's a blessing, but I
Yes.
use art as a way to deal with stuff that goes in my head, things I'm thinking about, epiphanies that I have, or issues I may deal with, or things that I see. I tell stories to help cope and process things as well when I'm writing movies and stuff. Because I think about something, I read an article, it pops in my head, and so all that we're seeing, man, as a filmmaker, you just need that time to process, I guess. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm trying to process everything at this point. That's why I asked about, is it stressful pursuing your dreams? Because it can become stressful a little bit.
And it's not necessary, like you said, it's not necessarily as much as, like we talked about last week, it's not necessarily as much as like some people are like, oh, I'm loving what I do. Like I'm at peace too. I'm at peace. I love what I do because I know I'm walking in the purpose God has called me to. But there are the moments that we have because we are human.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have sometimes that roller coaster where we're up for a while and then we have those down moments, because everything in this business is hurry up and wait. Oh, I'm going to invest in your film and the check never comes. And oh, I'm still waiting years later. Like literally, somebody's communicating with me for the last 5, 6 years. One, two, three, at least for the last 3, 4 years about investing in one of my films. Oh, everything's going good, TK. This is what we have. And this is that, and it's like, oh, come on already. I got these scripts, I got the budget, I got the casting call ready. Like I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
And good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Brandon.
So the thing is, when we talk about mental health, I actually wrote a movie called The Garter, which it kind of touches on that. And I promise, because Michael always telling me with the movies, men don't cry that much. And I'm like, but they cry. But it's interesting for you to say that the girl said she spends all that time wanting him to be vulnerable. And then the word I can't say. And then once he finally cries in front of her, she that she lost interest in him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your audio went out, TK.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
And so, it's interesting because it's like, so you want, so I mean, and this is not just her, it's a lot of women. So
Mm-hmm.
you really want, I'm sorry, I know this is this filmmaking, but whatever. So you literally really want a man that will not cry? Where do you think he's going to take his anger and emotions out if he can't cry? And if he can't find you as a safe place, he don't want you either. So you did him a favor.
At the end of that comment, it says this is a safe place, but not that safe. And I was like, wait, how can it not be
What?
that safe? Yes, you brought it all back to me real quick. Yes, I'll have to send you the thing. And I was kind of like, well, safety is unconditional. It should, if it's a safe place, then it should be so safe. And you could talk
She
about
got
anything.
issues. She
But
got issues because if she says this is a safe place, but not that safe. No, it's not a safe place because there is no way. If a man can't feel safe with you emotionally, like that's his biggest thing in the world is to go out against all the stresses and everything in the world, and then have to have someone he can, come
Mm-hmm.
home and just let it all out and be vulnerable with, and you're saying that you don't want that, you did him a favor because he is not for you.
There you go.
You are not
So,
for him. You get somebody that want to whoop your, or I'm sorry, or
nah,
be the be. I mean, what I'm saying is because they're gonna take out if they can't let out their emotions to you and you're that person,
they'll
they're
let
gonna
it out
find
the wrong
someone
way.
else. Number one, they're gonna find someone else to do it, or number two, they're gonna take it out in unhealthy ways. Bottom line.
There you go.
Hey, Rosalind, good morning. I needed to
Hello,
call you
Rosalind.
this week.
So
Hey,
here's what Thomas said. He said, for creators, if we use our trauma to create, it can become a very powerful message for reflection and change in people's lives. And that's what
absolutely.
I started doing some of the films. I wanted to help people heal from in my films. Like I wanted to tell stories that aren't always told, or in a way is not
Right.
always told. And I think it's like I always tell people, life is a process. Everything's a process.
Oh my
And
God.
there was this movie I liked. I thought was really good. You remember Remote Control with Adam Sandler?
I
And
don't.
okay, so he's this guy. He has a wife. He's married, and he has kids or something. I wasn't sure if he had kids yet or if he got them. But but in it, he takes this remote and he fast forwards the parts of life he didn't want to live through.
Wow.
And it gets to the point he misses a lot of stuff. It's as if he wasn't there, but they remember him being there, but he wasn't there. And
Wow.
and so he realizes how much of life he's missed with this remote, trying to fast forward through things. And it's like life is a process and we have to live it. We have to live the
Oh,
process.
I literally was just having that conversation with someone yesterday about process and everything we do. It's like, one thing about me, God shows me visions and dreams and stuff, and everything just don't happen after He show it. I'm like still waiting on 10 years, 7, 9, 10 years for promises. Sorry to put that Abraham and Elizabeth waited 24 years for that little baby to come. But what I'm saying is, like you just said, everything is a process. But the thing is, what are we getting in the process? Because the process is to grow us and prepare us for what God has placed before us in the future. So if we script everything, that's why we talk about filmmakers and how everybody want cliff notes and want to take the shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't take the process that you need to take when you come up against stuff as a filmmaker, as a writer, as an actor, when you come against this stuff, you are not prepared for it because you skipped over so many things that would have built the character that you needed to sustain you in this career.
Yeah. And that's, and even going through the filmmaking process, it's like just the stuff that we encounter, what people don't know. Like people only know what they see, what we allow them to
Absolutely.
see. They don't see the internal all the time. And
Yep.
I feel for actors. I feel for directors and producers. And it's unfortunate things happen. But the part that a lot of people keep missing is, and here's the thing, before we put people on pedestals, because we have to be careful putting people so high, is respect that they're human and let them live. Because we're all human. We all go through it. And this is why I say be empathetic, be caring.
Yes.
It was through what I was going through this week. My brother Jamal called me on the phone. Jamal's probably watching. He's at work. He's been grinding. What's up, Jamal? But he said, he was like, Michael, my brother, as black men, we got to be there for each other. We got to check on each other. We got to see how the other person's doing. We got to say, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? And so because we think that everyone's okay. And the truth is no one's okay. Like no matter how much you say it is, we're not okay. And we got to tell the truth about it. We got to be willing to live in the truth. That's first.
Got to be willing to live in the truth.
And,
Absolutely.
and that's why I think filmmaking is such a beautiful thing, because it does allow people to sit in the seat and go, wow. I remember when I did Broken, and a young lady came to us after it was screened, and she said, man, I am broken.
Mm.
And I was like, where? She's like, I watched the movie, and I said, she's like, I saw me. And I
You're
said
like,
to
okay.
her, I said, wow, and it's that moment again, because when I wrote poetry, it was a mirror. Right, the writing to me was a mirror that people can read
Right.
the words and reflect in it and see themselves. And that's how I look at filmmaking. That's how I looked at the music I did. That's how I looked at the paintings I did. My art, all that. It's a
Hmm.
reflection of life. We always say, does art imitate life or does life imitate art? And I think it's hand in hand. Art has the
Mm.
ability to inspire, right?
Yes.
Art has the ability to help heal, but it also has the ability to damage
Mm.
if we use it the wrong
Preach.
way. So we have to tell these stories. And so as filmmakers, what are we thinking about now? Because, and it's okay to tell we're not monolithic, but we act, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm starting to think we act monolithic. If one traumatic situation occurs this week with us, our whole focus the entire week is on that situation.
Ooh, preach.
And that makes us monolithic because the news is on it. Every time it's talked about, it's this one topic. And yet we're saying there's more to us. And I posted something this morning. I said there's a lot more going on in the world than one thing. And we have to start seeing that and understand that. We get stuck on something. Don't get stuck on it. I know the things that ramifications that come from a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, as a filmmaker, this is, I said it before. I'm not a fan of the award shows anyway. I commend people for winning awards. I celebrate them, but for somebody to subject you to whatever for you to get what their opinion is if you're a winner or not. I'm a winner for a living. I'm here to
Come
win.
on. Preach.
I'm a winner if I made a movie and people sat in seats and watched it. I'm a
Come
winner.
on.
I'm a winner if I just made the movie. It doesn't matter if 10 people said it or 2 people sat in the seat and watched it. Because making a movie is a feat within itself. Okay? It is a challenge within itself. So if you've made a movie or you're going to make a movie, and I'm telling everybody straight up right now, most people who want to make a movie, very few set out and actually do it.
Hmm.
So if you're one of those people that set out and you did it, I celebrate you. I commend you. I tell you, you did it. It doesn't matter if 5 people saw that movie because you still made it. And there's a lot of people who say they're going to make a movie and never make one. Not one. And there's some people that made one and that's all they
And
got.
they
And
were
there's some,
criticized.
yeah,
They were criticized like they made 272,000. Good morning, Audrey and Ada.
yeah, good morning. And you know what? Everybody, listen, as a creative, we're not above criticism. The world is going to criticize us. It feels it has the right to. If they paid to see it, if they didn't pay to see it, they feel like
If
they
they
got
didn't pay the fee, they still
they
feel like they
got a
have the
right
right
to
to
tell
criticize.
you about
Absolutely.
what you did. But listen,
That's hilarious.
without knowing, what you put into the blood, the sweat, the tears, the energy you put into it. And you know, I don't I'm inspired by people. That let me tell y'all this. I don't idolize anybody. I don't really look up to anybody but my dad because that's who raised me. That's who I had in my life. And the people surround me who inspired me. I don't, but I'm inspired by people because the one thing I understand is about people is we don't know what they went through to get there. And
Absolutely.
and most people aren't willing to go through what people have gone through to get where they are. They just want the results versus the process. You know. Um, so all I'm
But
saying about that.
yeah, but what gets me, what the biggest thing that gets me about people also is that you put these people on a pedestal like they're not human. If you're inspired by somebody, you look up to somebody, like Thomas said, we're not making them our idols, but you look up to them, you're inspired by them. But when they actually have a human moment, all of a sudden they're the worst person in the world. It's like, okay, yesterday, didn't you just make what matter of fact, 10 minutes ago, didn't you just make a mistake? Oh, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't televised, so couldn't nobody drag you through the mud like you dragging them, right? I got you. You exactly right. And that's what kills me about people. We wait, it's like we just looking for people to file to say, oh, see, they're not perfect. They never said they were perfect. They're human just like you. They bleed just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that put them, you know. But then some people wait till we watch people fall so they cannot feel as bad about their own lives. Oh, well,
That's
if they made a
yeah.
mistake, oh, I feel really good now because if I make mistakes and they make mistakes. Oh my God, I feel really good about myself. Really? We are all human. We all have emotions. We all have good and bad days. We all, you know what I mean? We all have our
Hmm.
own connections. I mean, it's like for real people. So that's why I kind of tap in and out of stuff because I am like, oh, y'all gonna make me really say something, then I'm gonna offend everybody.
Yeah, because somebody's like, whose side you on? I'm not on any side. It's a traumatic situation for either side. People need to be there for either person. And what comes of it may not be good for us as whole. But the other thing is too, um, here's a part of a racist construct I want you guys to understand real quick. And this is just me speaking right now. Making one black person responsible for the whole black American people is the worst thing we can
Listen,
do because that is racism. We
every
don't say
single
the words
time.
white on white crime. We don't hear the words Indian on Indian crime. We don't hear, and we don't say, oh, this person just set us back. We don't, who did anybody set white people back? Did anybody set Asian people back? Guys, we got to stop subscribing to that. And that's how we get our power. It's not in
I
using an N word. It's not in getting rid of it. It's not, our power comes from how we perceive ourselves and how we allow others to perceive us. And we need to take control of us. Stop letting everybody
absolutely.
else take control of us. That's why I do the film thing, because we are media. We have the ability to tell stories and say stuff that some people may not feel comfortable saying. They may
Hmm.
feel like they're going to lose their job for speaking out for their truth. And, stop letting somebody tell our drama. Tell our own trauma so we can heal from it, so we can get straight to it. And so they can stop telling us how we feel. Because I think about it, what black person they hire to make a film about the Holocaust? Let's just be straight up.
Let's
So
just be
I answer
straight
that.
up.
If they stop letting somebody else make your movies. Because they're not going to do that. And
And
that's me as a filmmaker.
I'm
Tell our
pulling up the
stories.
director of Detroit because that was one of the things too. The Detroit movie. What was her? I know her name. I can't. Catherine Bigelow.
Mm-hmm.
When Catherine Bigelow did Detroit, I was like, Catherine Bigelow did Hurt Locker. She's married to another director. I forgot his
Yeah.
name, but I was like, Catherine Bigelow directed Detroit. And so as soon as it was coming on and I watched it, I was like, this is so whitewashed. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
not it. You could just feel it. I'm pretty sure other races couldn't feel it, but as black people, most black people, now I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it automatically felt whitewashed. It was so kind of washed over some stuff, and it was like they showed some of the prominent stuff, but the emotions and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't there. She couldn't dig into the emotions of what black people, especially black men, were feeling at that time when they were going through that. And it was like that. Who, like, I'm leaving the movie like, who thought that was a good idea to hire Catherine Bigelow to direct this movie? I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I think we have to stop subscribing to it and just take the reins ourselves and be like, hey. And so that comes with money. That
I
comes
was
with
just gonna say
influence.
that's the problem
That comes with the
because
support.
soon as they locked Catherine Bigelow onto that Detroit project, it immediately got made.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, because remember what a few years ago, Spike was having issues making a money, make getting money to
Yeah.
make film, and Halle Berry, she had money, she had problems after she won the Oscar, doing to get money to make Frankie and Alice. And I don't know if you guys saw Frankie and Alice. That is
Oh
Halle
yeah.
Berry's one of her best movies. Then Bruised, Frankie and Alice, and Bruised. Those were two of her best movies, I feel.
I
Um,
haven't seen Bruce yet, but yeah, Franklin Alley I saw.
Ooh, my goodness, but those are two of her best movies. But she, after she won the Oscar, she still had, and it was a small budget film. Frankie and Alice was a small budget film, and she still had problems. It was a period piece, but it was still a small budget. But it wasn't like a period piece where it would have been, took $50 million, unless she was taking 20. But you know how they do. There's A-list
Mm.
actors. But anyway, um, but the point is, but that's crazy. Like, it's Halle Berry. She's won an Oscar. She's did all this stuff, and then she still has these issues. White man is married to a black woman. I replied, "Well, you make your damn movie what you want to see. I can't stand people like that." And
Yeah,
this is the
that's
thing. Like they talk about slavery movies. Do we need another slavery movie? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You think we don't need another slavery movie, but guess what? Some people like to be educated. And number two, Number two, that's two right there. Put up the number two. I always use this as an example, but I worked with a white lady, 65, 60, 65 something years old from Wisconsin. They had one black person in their town. She went to the movies to watch Selma. She didn't pick up a book. She didn't go to the library and pick it out, but she's a movie buff. She
Mm-hmm.
watched that movie Selma and she said, I had no idea that this happened. I had to even school her on lynching because she thought lynching happened when only they did something bad. I said, babe, what?
Because
And
that
I had
see, we don't know what's being taught in another community.
in the North, they don't teach any of this because we had
Mm,
when we did the table read for Greg's play, a play I co-wrote with Greg, there was a guy there from up north. I think he might have been Pennsylvania or something, and we were reading I think it was Watch Night, the play Watch Night, and there's a lot of historical stuff in there. And he was like, I knew none of this, like how the slave masters were treating the slave, like the real stuff, because
mm-hmm.
we did dig deep. He was like, he was so blown away, he was literally in tears. And when we did the play in Houston, one of the city council members, he was presenting something to Greg during intermission. He literally had to stop and just sit there for a moment because he had no idea. He was watching this stuff take place, and he was like, "I just had no idea." And that's where the empathy comes from,
Mm-hmm.
so they can understand why black women make 62 cents to the white man's dollar at this moment, and all the other stuff with the interest rates, the redlining. I mean, we can go on forever
And those
about
are stories we
discrimination in
need
different areas.
to
But if we don't
tell.
put it in movies, but if we don't put it in movies, people are not going to just pick up the color of law and read a book about, housing discrimination.
Because
But
everybody
if we
don't
put it
read.
in movies, people like to be entertained. So it's like mixing the medicine with the Kool-Aid. So having these different movies and having this balance of films, just from telling, like you said, telling from our experience, it allows people to experience people
Mm-hmm.
that are not going to necessarily step in a black man's shoes because they can't ever, but they allow to, so we write movies with, like I said, that's the purpose of me writing some of I have movies that have black men characters because I wanted to show that. I know I'm not a black man, but I did get, stamp of approvals
You
for
because
some.
you let black men read your stuff and say, "Is this the way you guys will respond to it, or how do you think about this character? Did I hit
Am
what
I
I needed to
wrong?
hit about it?" But see,
Absolutely.
that's having a respect because I can't write a when I got and I mean I have a lady writing my scripts anyway. So, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
let's just be real,
thank you.
right? So when the woman's perspective, because we dealt with this, remember grad school. Now that I'm done, I'm done. So
Oh my
grad
God.
school, we were working on a script, and these women said, "Women don't do that." And I said to TK, "Well, they're talking about my mama." Like,
Yeah, because
and
remember when he picked her up. When he picked her up and was trying to be romantic and pack her to the room, and the lady says, "What's wrong with her legs?"
right. Oh my god. And so that's a sign of being romantic and carrying her and she can walk for herself. I'm like, wait, what? And so I'm telling y'all, and I had to, when I wrote a response to all of this, I said, you guys have to learn that people don't see the world you see because we all experience something different within our culture, within our household, within our environment. And I can't write what you always want me to write because that's your environment, it's your story. I'm writing my story. I'm telling the stories that I'm familiar with from my experience and situations. And so, because in this story, the guy picked his wife up because he messed up and he picked her up to carry her to the bedroom. Was she asleep or something? She was asleep on the couch. She fell asleep and he came
I
home
can't
late from
remember.
work. And the professor wrote on my thing, "What's wrong with her legs? Can she walk?" And
I was
TK and
done.
I were like,
I was like, Michael, we're not going to pass this class. Like, I was like, we are not going to pass this class, Michael.
because
I can't.
it was for it was for a thesis film I wrote and I was working on with TK. And TK was hired to be my writer because I could hire her. I got the approval for it to be my writer on this. And we were like, this these notes, man.
We could not tap into because we could not, just like she couldn't tap into our perspective, we couldn't tap into the perspective of of, yes, we write characters and we do character development, but
Hmm.
there are certain times you have to tap in. So this was a situation we literally had to try to bow down and tap into the perspective of this teacher because we had to pass this class.
Hmm.
So we really tried to tap into and then the other, remember, then
We
she
did a
passed it
second
to,
story and we got another thing. And I was at TK, I'm just going to see if they got a script that we can just tailor to us because they are not feeling what we talking about. And this stuff is real to us.
but the other man, then she passed it to a different man, remember?
Yeah,
And
she passed me to a guy.
he gave us a list of 8 things that needed to be fixed with this, 10-page script. We fixed everything he said, sent it to him. He came back with 20 more things. Am I lying?
No, those were from her.
He
So
came back
even though we were with him,
more
it was still
things.
coming from her. Yeah.
And so we fixed all of them. Listen, y'all, we fixed all of those 20 things. You're talking about tapping into perspectives. We fixed all those additional 20 things, and I am not exaggerating. They sent back 5 more things. I told Michael, get these people on the phone. This is ridiculous. We
So
had to get we got
I
on the Zoom
told
call
the
with
thing
them.
is, and what helped me, my dad said, pass the class, get done with your degree and get on with
And
it.
that's what we were
They
trying to
can't
do.
see you. They can't, because here's the thing. Some white people write us off of what they see on TV. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I remember being in a class and one of my classmates wrote a story and the kids, their mother was an educated mom. She was a professor of psychology. And the kids were ghetto as I don't know what. And when I mean that, like they're cussing, they doing this, walking around, cut off t-shirt. I'm like, when last time I seen a guy wear a cut off t-shirt was back in the 70s, maybe early 80s. I'm sorry, breakdancing. But we're like in the 2000s during COVID. And this is where the premise is in 2000 during COVID. Does anybody know anybody who wears a cut off t-shirt? Guy, muscle cut off t-shirt. We wear tank tops now. And so the conversations, the dialogue, the one brother went to college, the other one was in high school, and how they spoke was not of HBCU students or their brother, or reflected of educated, or how to be raised by a mom who was a college professor. My parents aren't college professors, and I was raised a certain way. They actually only had associate's degrees, but they always were about how you spoke, the importance. So being middle class, I will say, you're raised a certain way. You say things. And so these are middle class kids, but instead of being middle class, they were low income housing kids in a sense to her. That's how because that was how we all are. And that's where you have to be mindful of who's writing and telling your stories, or putting you in a film to tell the story they want to tell about us. And we have to be mindful. And it's not to down anybody. It's just to be aware that this is why we make films, for not just the entertainment purpose, not just for the joy of storytelling, but to be impactful and tell the truth that people don't want to see. This is why critical race theory is a theory to people when it's tell the truth about history, what you really did.
Tell the truth. What is
let's just tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
As my dad told me when I was learning history in school, because we had to learn history in our house versus history in the school. And he said, when you go to school, you got to remember his story is written by the victor, the one who won. So they're never going to tell you they were the bad guy, because even a good guy sees himself as even a bad guy sees himself as a good guy doing something good. So my dad helped. And that's the same thing in movies. When we write stories, I had to understand that the bad guy in a movie sees himself as right, when what he could be doing is absolutely wrong, but he has a reasoning for why he's doing it. So that's powerful. As writers, we have to get that understanding. But so as I learned history at home versus history at school, I learned one was a lie, and you just got to get past the grades for the teachers, and you got to learn the truth on your own, because the victor is not going to tell you the truth. The guy who cheated at the game is not going to tell you, I won. He's going to say, I won fair and square. No, he's not going to tell you he cheated. You know, like.
Absolutely. And when we're telling stories, that's when we, like you said, we have the balance because I wrote a story. I wrote a true story about a guy I know on death row.
Mhm,
And I've seen the case. I've seen the evidence. I've seen, they even had this show on Dr. Phil. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's State versus Reed. It's a documentary on YouTube, but the guy's from my hometown, Bastrop, Texas. And it was a 2-day part series on Dr. Phil. And the audience voted him like 97% innocent. But what I did was when I wrote this story, I took all the evidence and all the facts of the case and I created the story. And so when I had someone read it and they say, TK, you didn't pick a side. And I said it wasn't for me to bring to pick a side. It was for me to put the story out there of what happened, you know, of what happened and the evidence that was presented and do it in such a creative way where I didn't pick a side, but I was presenting the story.
mhm.
And I did that, and it was like because I wasn't there. I could just tell you what happened. I could tell you what they projected to happen. I can tell you, you know what I mean? And I can go off the evidence that was presented. But when we're telling stories, and that's why when people like come in with true stories, I'm always like, so which side of the story are we telling? Like, are we telling the
Mm,
middle? We're just telling your side. So when people come to me with, I want to tell my true story, I kind of listen. I've written, true stories for people,
mhm,
adaptations, but I kind of listen to them and then I see how they present the other people. So I can
right.
have that discernment that I'm just not putting my name on something where you just feel you want to bash people.
Mm, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because
you
I'm
gotta
not
be
into.
careful of that, yes.
Yeah, so you have to be careful. So thank goodness, that discernment, because I always pray, Lord, if this is not for me or if this is not being told right or whatever, pull me from it because I don't want to misrepresent anyone or anything. So transitioning to the article you sent earlier.
Oh, let's talk. Let's all right, we're gonna
So
transition, y'all. We're gonna get into the business of
transition over a
filmmaking
little.
here.
Okay, you got the article. You want me to pull it up? Let
I'll
me
let you
see.
pull it up, but I'll pull it up too. Somebody was like, "You guys need to have a fact checker one day." One of my boys, he was supporting us, but he was just like, "Hey, we need a fact checker." So I had to tell him, we like talking like we in a barbershop. We gonna make mistakes and stuff, because it was like an award, Oscar award, when Halle Berry, because she won for,
Monsters Ball.
yeah, Monsters Ball. It was something, but it didn't matter. And I told him, I said, the way we talk is basically like we know our facts or certain things, and sometimes we make mistakes. We'll correct it.
Yeah,
But for the most part, we're at the barbershop. Uh, we
we're not
we
Google.
we
We're just
talk it,
taking care.
but
We're
like
just
no, but so the situation though, because you still got to check facts, even though we hear it from an article, we still got to check more facts. The situation involves Damon Dash. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It is posted on the Black Filmmakers Lounge page as one of the posts earlier this morning. Um, so that post came from Vibe. There's a more in depth article, of course, that I sent to TK. But
Yeah, and so the information we're giving y'all right now is not from us, it's from Vibe.
yeah,
So
there's
we just want to
Vibe,
know
and then there's
where we're getting the information from that we're about to talk
the
about.
cheatsheet.com was another site, and there's other trades, film trades and stuff that are sharing stuff as well. So go ahead, TK. I'll let you take this one.
So basically, the article says Damon Dash loses an $850,000 copyright infringement lawsuit. So this lawsuit was filed by Josh Weber and Muddy Water Pictures, and I think I've seen
Mhm.
Muddy Water's name on some other films. I didn't get to pull it up before I
Plus,
seen
Muddy
it.
Waters is also a artist back in the
Yeah,
day, a
he's an
blues
artist, but I think
artist.
I've seen.
They took
Yeah,
that
because
name from Muddy Waters, the blues artist. But yeah,
oh, is that copyright infringement? Anyway, so but anyway,
trademark maybe. But I don't
this
know.
was a 2019 film that Damon Dash was hired to co-direct, called Dear Frank.
Mhm.
What happens is Weber claimed that he pitched Dear Frank after he was fired for a lot of violations, according to them. According to the article, there was a lot of things
Mhm.
that Damon Dash did on set, and so they end up firing him. But once the film was done, he started pitching it like it was his own, including like BET. Oh,
Changed
and
the name of it. He supposedly
I
changed the
just read
name to the list. The
he
name
changed
of
the
the
name to the list and pitched it to BET. So he was misrepresenting the film. So one thing I found in this industry, and I know I'm not the only one, you guys chime in, of course. Hey, Darrell. One thing I found is that in this film, especially just literally in the last month, especially, there are people who want to be in this industry so bad that they will use their name and their likeness just to put their name on something because they want to be in this so bad. I feel this is my strongest belief, and I preach this all the time. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has been given gifts by God to do something in this world. Whether if it's write, art, manage, be an accountant, everybody has a gift. So to me, I'm like, when you're not walking in your gift that you're supposed to, you make the world off balance. That's just how I think. Because you're not walking in what you're supposed to be doing to make the world go round. So there are a lot of people that the film industry, it's glitz and glamour for them. So they will do what it takes to get their name in this industry. And so what, this is going to be a touch off of what this article, but in the last month, I've had people who have hired me to rewrite or do some stuff on things, and they're like, "Oh, add my name as a writer." And I was like, "What did you write?" Well, I gave notes on 5 things on this 90-page script. I wish I was lying. So since I changed 33% of it, I get writer credit. I said, "No, you don't." And they were like, "But this is how the industry works, because if I put my name on it, then this, and that, and then people are giving money." I'm saying, "But you're putting your name on as a producer, and you're putting your production company on. You didn't write one word on this script. Just because you gave notes, some minor notes to help enhance the story, that did not make you the writer of the script." I've ran into that twice in the last month.
So
and it's crazy to me.
That's why on the script you say, because when I come to you, I send you a story. I send you an outline. I send you the story.
Absolutely.
And on the script, it says story by, script by, because it's two different things. And now there's times you and I have both written a script, but then there's times you wrote the script, I wrote the story. That's where you understand the difference.
No, TK, see, I'm in this business and I know how this works and this, and that. And I'm sitting here thinking, I said, you know what? I said, that's between you and whoever you made this deal with. I said, but I'd be doggone, I want to say the other word, but we might be FCC regulated. We got middle school kids. But the bottom line is, you are not about to come and take credit for something I did. You gave me the story. Now, there are certain people I will let have co-writer credit with me because, like, for instance, I have a client, he sends me 26 pages written like this. And it is dialogue. It's scene by scene. It's dialogue. It's everything in there. So he's telling me exactly what they're saying. To me, okay, yeah, I'm not going to trip about co-writer credit because you're literally telling me word for word what these people are saying and pretty much over half the movie. So I'm lucky to get the co-writer credit because I'm really just almost interpreting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And putting my little bit in. But the fact that so many people in this industry, and as filmmakers and as writers, actors, we have to be aware of these people who are coming in because their name looks good on the project. So, I'll come in and I'll bring the financing I'll bring the $300,000, but I need to co-direct. Well, have you ever directed it? I want to direct. Have you ever directed anything? No, but my name is bringing the money. That's not what I asked you. Have you ever directed anything? Because just because your name you think carries weight and you want to be a part of this, that doesn't mean you have to be part of this in a director capacity when you've never even shadowed anybody directing. But you want the glitz and glamour of your name being on the screen in that certain position. But we have to sacrifice I'm trying to make my thing even. But we have to sacrifice the art just to give you an ego boost. I'm not doing it. That's just me.
But so the thing is, because Damon Dash has made other movies prior to this.
His name has been on the hold on.
Okay, his name is on other movies, but he's directed is what I'm saying. He's directed other projects. He came on as a co-director. The problem could be because there's another article. My wife was reading the other one to me yesterday about contracts not being signed and taken care of. So that becomes the bigger issue too. is the lack of contracts, of who's doing what's their job. This is why you do send, when you hire somebody for something, you specifically say what their job is, what
And
they're
their
doing.
description.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
Well, you
and
should
then
know.
yeah, and then you come to that agreement. You also are careful that you say, hey, this belongs to the company. Because when you work for somebody, even if you're a director or anybody, everything belongs to the producer anyway. Like, I tell everybody, I'm the producer. It all belongs to me. I'm hiring everybody to play their part to
I'm
put the
hiring
thing
everybody to
together.
play their part. Yep.
But it belongs to me. So I own the rights. I own everything. That's how I operate. That's business. It's just, if you went for a toy, if you went to work at a toy company, you designed a toy in their offices working for them, they own the toy design. You don't. When you leave, you can't take it with you. You can only take the skill of designing toys that you acquired from there, but you can't take what you created for them with you. It belongs to them. It happens everywhere. And so we have to understand that aspect of signing on to work on people's projects, in films. Because some people feel like they are entitled to stuff, you know.
That's what I was just about to say. Entitled, and also a lot of times when there are certain names involved, let's be real. When it's some no names or little bitty us involved, we got that paperwork together. We got our paperwork, we got our location releases, our actor releases. But then when a certain name come on and we've asked them to send the paperwork. Oh, I'll send it in time. Oh, I'll send it. I'll
Mm,
send it. Don't worry about it. We get a little lenient with
right.
when we think people are, on a certain stature or level.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little more lenient.
Because you think they're going to help you. You think
You
they're
think
going to
they're
make
gonna
a
help me, so I'm
connection
not
for you.
pushing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna push the issue that they haven't signed the paperwork.
I,
But
I told
definitely,
actors, I don't start rolling with you until you sign my paperwork.
we not because like you said, now, but and I'm not gonna say it's newbies that do this too, because I'm saying because it's just people with certain stature that come in with a certain presence. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get it. Hey, producer, we get the paperwork. Oh, yeah, we'll get it. They'll get it over
Mm-hmm.
to us. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and shoot. I've had paperwork come in to me after like we shot, and I was just a PA on set, and I'm like, did we agree on how much I was getting? Like I knew the base amount, but I did, there was also a max amount I was going to be getting. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew the base I was good, and I knew the people. So I literally was like, so I didn't get the paperwork to literally, it was a 10-day shoot. I probably got the paperwork day 4.
See, and I guess for me, I want every contract up front. And you should, because let's say you start working and they change a contract, or is there something they put in there that you didn't discuss? And now you're under that because you're going to sign it so you can get paid. Because you got to, well, I can't cut your check until you sign this contract. Because people do it. They
And
do
that's a
that.
dangerous thing. If it wasn't somebody that I truly trusted, that
Mm-hmm.
I knew and trusted, I wouldn't have, you know what I mean? And after the first, like I wouldn't, after the first day, like if I seen what was going on, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's that discernment. But it was only because it was somebody I truly trusted. I had never worked with him before, but he has been working on my projects for free, helping me enhance my projects and pitching my stuff to studio. So I knew if he treated
Mm-hmm.
me like that and had never met me, I knew he was gonna make sure I was taken care of. And he literally ended up, I was getting a PA rate. It was just 150 a day.
Okay.
He he ended up kicking in additional $50 a day and making sure I got paid $200 a day after the shoot was over.
Oh, amen.
So, you know what I mean?
Amen.
So it was,
Yeah.
but like you said, it's scary for you to get paperwork 4 days in because then it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Especially when, like, I know my job as a PA. Like, my job is over and beyond anybody can get. Can't nobody give me a job description on PA. You really can't because I'm always over and beyond
Mm-hmm.
when I do PA. That's why, I work so well. Amen. Thank God for that on set because I'm over and above my prescription. But like you said, if it would have been anything else, TK, we want you to be a producer on this. Okay, you got to lay out my duties because there are so many duties in regards to being a producer and so many lines you can cross, but you want to stay in your lane and do what you're called to do. So that contract and laying out job descriptions, I think that's one of the things um, that we got to make sure of is that we're laying out job descriptions. I'm like my film, I'm like, my first feature, I'm already like my job descriptions, I've already kind of in my head. I haven't written them down yet, but I'm like, I already have an idea in my head of who's going to do what.
Right.
because that way when we come in, there won't be any blurred lines or who's taking care of this, who's taking care of this. Everybody has a job description of what everybody else is doing. So if you have a question about this, you go to this person. You don't have to keep coming to me to figure this stuff out, but you have a list. So you communicate, here's everybody's phone number. So if you have a question about a location, you call such and such. Such and such is handling locations. That's who you call. It's already laid out. Just, there are going to be pitfalls and, stuff that happens, but at least a lot of this stuff is ironed out. So there won't be any blurred lines. But, it looks like, and then, they talked about the tone of the set in this movie. That was one of the things they touched on, was the tone,
Right.
him co-directing and handling the movie. And we talked about that before, but we talked about on-set etiquette.
Etiquette, yeah.
We talked about on-set etiquette and making sure. And that's why one of the things I do is kind of funny, because as a PA, I'm still me. I have a gift of encouragement. So when I'm on set, I am constantly walking around encouraging other people. Oh, that's a good job. Wow, that lighting looks so good. I'm constantly doing that because I want to make sure, regardless of whatever else is happening on that set, there's a tone that I have control of, that I can help kind of keep that set positive. And so I have to be careful, because I have my moments where I'm griping because, things are, because I'm the runner, I'm the PA. I swear it's 5 PAs on set, but it's only one PA. Her name is TK. And I'm like, I know there's somebody else name they can call. So I have my moments, but overall, I do try to extend positivity and try to make sure, in the last set, I did really well, like with, watching my mouth and just making sure I set a positive tone, because I want to be called back and I want to be known when people pull up to set now in Atlanta and they're like, TK, you're here. Like, they're so happy. And I'm like, oh, good, because that means, I know by the time I leave the first time when I see them, if I've done a good job towards that particular crew member, that actor, you know what I mean? Because I try to make sure everybody is good. One guy's like, you took care of everybody on this set, everybody. And the last guy on another set was like, the girl that takes care of all of us. So it's like having that tone and wanting to be called back, but also wanting to be seen as a person that you want to be on set, not because they work good, because their character's good and they lift up the people on the set.
And Derek was talking about that one time, a couple shows back. He was talking about how he grooms people to play positions and stuff because of how they are on set and how they present themselves. And he's like, hey, I want to help them. And he mostly helps women, but he says women are much more harder working. So,
wow.
See, there you go. Because, and you got to think about that with guys, because my biggest run in on set have been with dudes, and I think it can be, cause I'm very like straightforward. I tell you like it is. I'm trying to get this project done. I got a time restraint. I'm business. And they're like, oh, you talk to the women differently. Well, most of my cases, women come prepared. Like, my actresses come, they know their lines. I got guys now I'm not going to say guys don't, because I have brothers that roll up on set and they know their lines too. But I've dealt with more guys who didn't know their lines.
Wow.
Black, white, whatever. But I had more women who, even if they had a smart part, they knew their lines. Like, hey, can I say it like this instead? Because I was rehearsing it this way. Right. So it's a little bit different. But it's the thing is, how we are on set, it plays out. Terrell said, I agree. Women not playing on set, and I love it. See, I'm telling you, it's an interesting thing right there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, what it is, but I will. Hey, it is what it is. I'm just here to win, and we can all win together. It's not like I'm against anybody. Brothers, just step your game up. Come in to win. Come in. Hey, I'm going to do my best.
Good. I mean, girl power.
Look, whoever you are, male, female, never give less than your best.
Never give less than your best. Because let me tell you something. Like we talked about, I'm a PA on a lot of these sets, but I have connections to films, to plays, to producers, to other filmmakers. I have all these connections. I have connections to millionaires making films. Like, I have all these connections. And so when people ask, or if I see something that somebody, putting out, or we have these future projects, I'm on set checking everybody out. You see me as a person cleaning the toilet, picking up the trash, making sure y'all got ice in the ice chest. But guess what? Guess what? I'm the person that's recommending you behind the scenes that you don't know about. Brandon, I recommend, Brandon. I was like,
Hmm.
I see Brandon stuff and I recommended him for positions. I'm like, hey, I know this guy. Let me call him. But I'm recommending people for stuff. So you want to make sure that when you're on set, you're working hard and of course being nice to everybody because treating people like they're the little man on the set and you don't know who these people are at all. But I wanted to say also to the flip side of that lawsuit, unfortunately for Damon Dash, he has his own production company that's barely trying to get off the ground right now. And they're talking about how this financial almost $1 million hit him because he may or may not, we don't know, have a lot of money.
He had another lawsuit too,
Yeah,
prior to
I,
that
I
as
saw
well.
that.
Yeah.
It
So
said
that's,
another, the guy said
and
another.
that becomes, and so what we have to, because we have to be mindful, that becomes reputation, and which makes, hey, this person is bad for money because they're going to cost us money. And then no one wants to work
That's
with them
correct.
because if you keep getting sued and it in itself was another copyright infringement. So,
Wow.
so here's the thing, because a while back we posted on the Black Filmmakers Lounge a company that was distributing films that was partnering with Damon Dash.
We did.
And some people hit me up, oh man, I need to talk to, and I'm like, do your research.
Do your research.
I don't do stuff because of people's name. A lot of people in Hollywood have a name. They're famous. They got a name. But who they are, character, means something. I don't know Damon Dash personally. All I can say is what we see in articles, what we read, and what's going on. But at the end of the day, I don't know who's on the up and up and who's not. Well, I've dealt with people who don't have names to saying, hey, I want to distribute your film or this project you did, or I want to run it on my platform and this and that. So I listen to them and I say, well, send me the contract. Let me read it. That's the first thing. I like to get to know a personality.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I have a conversation with a person and then I'll say, send me the contract. Let me read it. When a person, here's the situation. I might have talked this before. The person in this situation I'm telling you about now sent me a contract, but the contract didn't even have my stuff's name on it. It had another company, another film's name on it. So he sent me, and they didn't even take the time to change the contract, to shape it, just sent me something they did for somebody else.
Now that's crazy, but
that showed me how serious they were.
Yes.
That's a sign of character for me. That's as a businessman. You don't have to you didn't take the time to change the name on it. I get mistakes.
Control F and find and replace and did that.
Exactly. So you don't, and then here's the thing. I have what I call, once I make one contract, I make a template. I make it into a template. So I go back, I erase the names, all that stuff. So all I have to do is, I know it's in my template. So I just got to go back and tap everything in. I don't have to do too much. If I got to add stuff in, I already have notes from what I got to add in. And so I look at that because when people approach you for your stuff, let's just be real. Some people are approaching you because they see us as easy marks. We want something so bad. We want a distribution deal so bad. We want to be famous so bad that we're willing to sign away our rights. We're willing to let people run our stuff and pay us very little or next to nothing. If you've put that much time, work, and energy, keep your power.
Ooh,
right?
That's so good.
And they see you coming. It's like a salesman, a used car salesman. You need a car bad enough, they see you coming. Right now, car prices are high. My wife and I were talking about, we can get a new car. Nope. I ain't in a rush. I got two cars I can take care of.
Used car prices are so skyrocketed right now. I'm looking at one. I was like,
they're causing your insurance to go up. So we have to understand and see, this is why we study business, because when we start studying business, we know what's starting to take place and take shape. Like TK and I have been talking about the metaverse lately because we know, and not just us, but the people in my circle have been discussing the metaverse now because they're like, damn it, Michael, you started it. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to tell you where it's coming. And so what your investments, where your money's going to go, is going to make that difference. And yes. So we have to be mindful. But so in film, we ought to be mindful that there's a lot of us who are happy to get a film out there, and we want it so bad. It's like back in the day, not long ago, but maybe a couple years ago, cats be like, my film's on Amazon. Well, no, Amazon didn't buy it. You could upload it to Amazon and people can watch it, and you control the settings. It wasn't an Amazon Prime where Amazon, well, not Prime. It wasn't an Amazon studio production or Amazon distribution deal. It was, they were uploading it. And so I always say, you got to understand it. And so when people aren't knowledgeable, they get juked. They be like, well, their stuff is on Amazon. That don't mean nothing. You got to understand how it's on Amazon. There's a difference. And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. And that's where, sorry to interrupt, but that's where, like, and I, one of our filmmakers love dearly on here. And then it's another guy, filmmaker in LA, the one I was talking to about putting his name on stuff, because, they're like, not Derek putting his name on stuff, but I'm just saying, like, in regards to screenwriters being too close to their scripts. And it is a balance. I agree, there's a balance. But I had a call a long time ago for one of my scripts. They were going to guerrilla shoot it. They tried to buy it for $500. They wanted to guerrilla shoot it. And it was just like, no. On the slate of 5 films. I'm like, I'm not that's what you offered me? Well, at least you have something out there.
I've heard that before. At least you got something. And I told people, I said, I'm a businessman. If I want it out there, I can put it out myself. Like, that's like, you had that control.
One trip to LA for me to learn how to write this script. Like, you know what I mean? And it was like, but you're treating it, but and people have to be careful when you're talking about screenwriters and filmmakers being so close to their stuff. You have to understand the sacrifice it took them to do it. So it's, sometimes they make it seem like, like it's nothing. Like, just do it, because you have all these other scripts, which is true. But at the same time, you have to be careful because there still has to be a balance, because we have sacrificed. It's not just that $500. I had to pay to do these trips. I had to get somebody to watch I had to be away from my child for 2 weeks to do this. I had to sit up at 2:00 in the morning to write this stuff. So there were sacrifices made, not just monetary sacrifices, to getting the script done. So when you tell me, oh, it's not nothing, just give it to me and let me guerrilla shoot it for $500. Well, if you want, hey, I can write you a $500 script.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I can write you a $500 script in 2 days.
I mean, hey, yeah. I used to do that. Tell people.
So if you think that's what your story is, if you want to write a $500, I will be a ghostwriter.
I used to tell people that for $500. I remember that time guy said $250 to shoot for like 4 days. I'll be his DP for $250. I was like, I'll shoot it with my cell phone. Like, I'll use iPhone still a film camera.
And that's why, and I guess that's a revelation I'm having right now. And that's why people get offended, writers, actors, directors, filmmakers, crew members. That's why we get offended when you try to discount certain aspects of this business, because it's like, oh, so my time and sacrifice and all the 16 years I've been in this business was not worth anything to you in your eyes, because you just see me as, just give me this for $100. You know what I mean? And so we have to be mindful of that. I have to be mindful of that when I'm hiring crew members, when I'm hiring sound. I know my highest crew member is going to be sound. I'm doing my research. I have my stuff laid out. Like, it's not a game to me.
And you know what? And I will say this, I know when people are starting out, and I think that what you should do if you're a person starting out is you should, now, honestly, starting out, not trying to be cheap, but honestly starting out, because I have sent people to TK. I've sent people to other people and who said they were trying to do something and they had no idea what they were doing. And instead of saying they had no idea, they were just like, And then you're like, you don't know what's going on, do you? And then they're like, not really. Okay. So let's talk from that perspective. And so because they come in, I did this, and they tell you everything they did, and they haven't ever touched a film. They haven't shot nothing. They haven't wrote a script, and they want to turn their book into a script, or they want to turn an idea they have into a script. And so I'm very straightforward with people. Like, things will cost you. You just don't know what it's going to cost. So you can go in when you have no idea and you're being honest. Hey, I've never done this before. I don't know how much I need a budget for. Um, what is it going to cost me to get a script done? Right?
Absolutely.
What is it going to cost me for you to film this movie? And the first thing I tell people is, do you have a script? And they go, no. I say, get the script first, because you need to know how many pages your script is.
Right.
Because, and how many locations you have and how many actors you have involved. So if you get the script done first, now you can plan everything else. Now you can start negotiating, doing the other stuff. But that, I tell them the first thing, get that script done.
And you'll have people that say, well, I don't want to pay for the script. I'll just write it myself. Well, call me in 3 years when you finish writing that script. Not being funny, because but the first thing I ask people when they start talking about writing a script, and I asked them, are you trying to get a film done, or are you called to be a writer? There is a difference. If you're called to be a writer, then you need to learn the techniques, you need to learn the structure, you need to learn everything about writing a script. You really do. But if you're called at this moment to create a film and you're hiring and putting it together, then go ahead and sacrifice and make that payment to get the script done, so you don't waste all this time, waste all these years, you know what I mean, trying to get the script right. And then you got to bring it back to somebody to rewrite on top of that, because you don't understand structure. You didn't understand dialogue. You know what I mean? Your action lines. And I'm reading another book. You know, that's the biggest thing with that, with authors, you know, they turn their stuff. And some authors, literally, you're like this. By page 10, it's like you've read 3 chapters already. Like, you know what I mean? So understanding the different formats and learning that. But sometimes it's okay. You know, I just was hired to do a short film from one of our family members here. And he was just like, well, how much you gonna charge me? And I told him we did it. And he was like, I'd rather just pay you to just go ahead and get it done, and I have it, than me trying to figure all this out and trying to, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's less stress, it's less everything. And I understand, you know, financially everybody can't, you know, so you make payments or you negotiate the best you can or do what you can. But if you're able to just go ahead and figure it out and hire somebody, when it comes to stuff, you know, oh, that's okay, I'll do sound myself. Who gonna do sound yourself?
It's a whole different monster.
You do not want to do sound by yourself on the cell phone, sir. You just doesn't want to do it. I'm not saying nobody did that, but I'm just be exaggerating.
You got to understand it.
Yeah, you got to understand it. You got to understand the concepts of each area that you're trying to cover, and stop. Oh, Lordy, what is it? 11:15. I want to talk about crew assignments. And that's part of the crew assignments. Stop coming in as the freaking writer, director, producer, sound, BTS, actor. What am I missing? PA, the runner, the driver. Stop doing all of this. Build a team. Take the time to build a team. Take the time to build a team of people who are going to support you and help your thing come to pass.
That you trust. That you can trust. That you can respect.
I seen a movie one time. I probably told y'all this. I seen a movie one time. I swear to you guys, this man's name was on every freaking title. From sound, composing, to acting, to executive producing, to directing, to write. His name literally, the credits was rolling before and after the movie. And his name was on everything. And the movie was so horrible. And this man was sitting up there like he was hot on a freaking hog.
But you know what? Okay, so I did that though. TK, I did that though, in a sense. Like, I did that on so many levels, especially with shorts. Because first starting off, we do play everything. And it's not always ego, JD. But no,
this was an ego project.
Okay. But because here's the thing. When you don't know, when you first start off, because I'll give you my story. When you first start off, money-wise, you don't have it, or you don't know who you need, and you can't trust everybody all the time because you don't know who to talk to. You tend to try to do everything yourself. And then when people have cut out on you because they try to get you, because I've had people tell me, hey, I'll do this for free. And then we go, okay, cool. I'll give you something, but cool. Then they go, oh, if I do it for free, though, it's on my time. But if you want it done quicker, this is what you need to pay me. Like 4 weeks later. And you're like, wait a second, but you just told me. And so when you deal with stuff like that, you start going, I'll figure it out.
It's true, but he did talk about the financial, like people donating money, and somebody gave me 20,000, and then I pulled
Oh
some out of
man,
my personal account. So
I'd have hired some people if
listen,
I had some money to hire some people. But I'm just saying.
guys, when I tell you, and it was funny because my homeboy was like, because in the movie he called himself to the stage to sing. So because he wrote the script, right? So he was like, he was drinking, and he was like when he heard his name, he was like, me, you know what I mean? And my homeboy was like, Henry. It was Henry. Henry say, this dude just called his own self to the stage. So it was so funny. But this guy, and then he's sitting on the panel like, yes, it's all about me, and I did that, and da 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 da. He wasn't like
Hey,
y'all. I didn't want
I'm
my
mad
name
that
to
he
be on.
called himself to the stage though.
It was
Can
Cap
I
City Film
have?
Festival, but it was funny because he wasn't on the stage like, guys. You know, it seems like my name is on everything, but I really had to figure it out because I really had a low budget.
Mhm.
It was nothing like that. It was totally like JD said. It was a flat out
Okay.
ego project. So Darrell, speaking of financial, question: do you wait to have the money to make a project or just do it? I'm having a conundrum at the
Conundrum.
moment. Conundrum,
Conundrum.
because I
I
don't
got you.
conundrum because I don't like not paying people. I appreciate they don't mind, but I personally want to take my take of people, but financially I can't. I have material. I could wait on being, or I can 1 to 10 years on production, and I'll give my take, and I'll let Michael give my take. And this is just our
I mean, hurt
opinions.
my take.
I, Darrell, I'm with you. I'm with you in regards to not wanting to pay people, and it is hard. Um,
Mhm.
to be honest, it really depends on what you're asking of the people in regards to time. If there's a feature where you're locking down 2 weeks of their time where they could be working, or is it locking down a couple of days?
Mm.
Because a couple of days you may be able to work. Hey, I can't give you anything but gas money and feed you right now, but I want to put it in the contract. When I do get funding in, I am able to give you this or something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
First money's in, so it won't be like, oh, on the back end, which you may never see, but something that's more appealing in regards to time and financially compensating them to where they're not feel like they're wasting their time, but they are, contributing in some way, and you're at least giving them gas money or something. You know what I mean? Because, and you want to make sure, of course, your project is the best that it can be because you're asking them to sacrifice. That's my take. Go, Michael.
So for me, I'll give you my first feature film. I had a budget that I refinanced my house and bought equipment.
Mhm.
Okay, so I bought equipment. So cameras, all lights, mics, that stuff. And I produced it. I told everybody I couldn't pay them, but what I did do, because I worked 9 to 5, is I made sure they were fed. I made sure their names was on stuff. My initial plan, if it did extremely well, like making some money back, plus, I mean, making what I borrowed plus more, then I would start paying them blessings.
Mhm.
Or, now I understand giving percentages, right?
Mhm.
Either way, they understand. You start breaking them into a small percent royalties or something for it. But I fed them. If they needed gas money, I put gas in their car. You can do those things, right? And this was for a feature. Now we shot mostly some evenings and most weekends.
Mhm.
And I scheduled it out. And I didn't have everybody. If my golden rule, if I don't need you on set, you're not there. Now, some of the actors were like, hey, do you need help with something? Because I would love to help you behind the scenes. And so some
Absolutely.
of them started coming, being a camera person. I told them how to do stuff, or being a microphone person later, helping with wardrobe, doing the ladies were doing each other's makeup. So it became, we were almost like family. When it came time to go to film festivals, the first thing I said, I can't cover your costs to go to film festivals, but here's what I can do. I can feed you while we're there. So
Exactly.
you see what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so it's how you do other things. Like I couldn't pay for a flight or a hotel room. So most of them room together. and then I would pay for dinner, or if it's outside of the hotel. Sometimes we were smart and be like, let's go to breakfast together, because breakfast was out too. It was free.
Let's go to the
But
hotel
dinner
together.
cost something. Right. We made sure everybody's on the time, right? Make sure you get up. You had 3 or 4 guys in a room bunking together because we just know we didn't have it. But I always talked about them. I always pushed them. If I met other filmmakers who saw my film and they're like, yeah, you can get in contact with such and such, I would do that, because I believe in any way to help somebody put money in their pocket when I couldn't pay them, I need to help them do.
Absolutely.
And now when we release DVDs after the screenings and stuff, some of them were selling them and I pay them from the DVD sales. Mm-hmm. I gave them percentages off of that. Or, so if you sold the DVD, at the time I was selling DVDs at $20 a pop. So they would make anywhere from $2 to $3, because I had to do the cost of what it cost me to make and produce the DVD and all that stuff, take it out of that. So I could give them up to about $3 or $4.
At least something.
Yeah. And they would do it. Someone be out there selling. I was cutting checks or sending money for $60-$70 and stuff. Like, people were on their grind. So, and they're autographing them for people. So when we had stuff, like I did host an event where people got to meet them. That's what you got to do. You got to find out ways that you can help them. If I had other projects, I tried to include them on those projects so I can keep pushing their name, because that's the relationship. Like I call it the Spike Lee concept, even though it isn't Spike Lee. A lot of people did it. You keep working with the same people and people keep seeing them. They start seeing them as viable actors, and you start boosting their career. They're going to get where they're supposed to get. And so that's kind of where I look at it. We don't always have the money, especially just starting out, or if you're funding it all yourself, because you just don't know where to go to find the finances. And it's hard, because like I said, my first feature, I refinanced my home. Like, that's now I increased my mortgage. There's other things that came with that. Sacrificial. Yeah. And so I saw the value in it. And even when we had to go do ADR, automatic dialogue replacement, people were like, hey, I had some of the actors were like, let me give you $50, man, towards my time. Because they knew I was paying out the pocket for time. I remember one of my boys came to the studio late. He's like, yo, here's $100. I'm so sorry I came to the studio late. Like, I know it's costing you money. I'm going to help you out there.
Ooh, that's respect that you don't have to ask for or demand. Come on.
Yeah, so you had people, so when people know you're really on the up and up and you really care about them, and you're really trying to help, and then when they have an idea, I'm like, yo, I'll come shoot that. Shoot, what's up? Mm-hmm. Help them out with something.
And when you get money,
mm-hmm.
One of the biggest complaints I listen to is when people get money, all of a sudden, those people that were willing to work for you for gas money that you thought were good enough for, soon as you get money, you go hire somebody else and pay them more when these people sacrifice for you.
Mm-hmm.
If they good enough to work on your project and you call them, give them an opportunity. Hey, if you know a better DP, fine, give them another position, but make sure they own that project and getting paid. And I want to address Tone's comment. I've also done it with all my name on everything. Sometimes people just don't show up or follow through to get the project completed. You have to do it all and be all, or you will never see the project come complete. This is true to a certain point. If every project you have has your name all over it, then to me, that's an issue. Because at some point, if you're in this game and you're working and you're grinding and we're doing what God has called us to do, he's going to bring us, and we're networking and asking questions, he's going to bring us people to help build us a team. It's not going to be every single feature we do come out like that. That's just my take on it. But yes, there are times you may have to step in a separate position and do things. But every single time, we definitely should be building teams of people who believe in us and our product, and we're able to. So as we go on through this career, we're building.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that's a big thing.
Not just staying the same.
There's some people like one of my boys, he was my DP. We both were doing the DP for I Am. You'll see his name on it. You'll see my name on it, because there's scenes I shot and there's scenes he shot. And we would go back and forth because he was available at different times. He's in Korea. He's on his way back. Hopefully we gonna get
Yay.
back in the grind, Brian. But like at the end of the day, that I know I have a DP or I know I have those skills. Now, if I need to bring now my wife, Tiffany, she will direct the scene. Like she knows those scripts. She will direct. She will be like, hey, and she comes in and fills in. I've had people volunteer to be like, hey, I'll be your PA for you if you need this. You have to have those relationships. And the more you're doing stuff, that's why I tell people start off with short films, right? And go to the colleges, go to the HBCUs, go to the community colleges, see in your area who's trying to do film or learn it and get your actors, get your set people from there, and then help them when they're doing their projects for school or they're trying to get their demo reel together. And by them acting in your shorts, or your feature, they got a demo reel. And you got to let them understand it may take a little while to get that demo reel from the feature because you're busy editing, you're putting together, and that takes a lot longer than it does a short. Mm-hmm. But promise them you'll get them a demo and make sure you give it to them. Because I've heard a lot of actors be like, yeah, they don't let the short film been out for 3-4 years and they still haven't sent me nothing. Don't forget about them. That's the worst thing you could do to them because they're trying to boost their career in acting and get it out there. Now, if it's stuff they can grab, because a lot of my people, when you do a short film and I put it on YouTube, or they can grab the scene they want, or they can ask me for a better copy of it or whichever if they choose to. But I still send them a DVD. I still give them a copy of their stuff, their work. And it's very important that we do that. And if we need to help them, whatever we can do to help them, that'll help us. Remember, we got to be beneficial so that we can benefit. So if you're dealing with an actor, you want to say, look, I'll write a scene with you for your reel. And then just highlight their skills. You get another actor.
Like you said, be beneficial. I need you to be beneficial to me. And I can't afford to give you this, and that. But, because this other producer I work with, he was like, I'm not giving anybody back points, but because I'm paying everybody. But I'm like, you're paying everybody two pennies.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So be fair.
Yeah.
Be fair. Be fair. That's just the bottom line. Just be fair. Be fair and understand the sacrifices that everybody else is making, just like you're making to get this done. Everybody has sacrificed to learn the skill set that they've learned.
I mean, I was hoping my first feature film would have made some good money because I was going to bless even though my actors wouldn't have had made that much money working on the film, I was going to bless them with 10 grand a piece if I made a lot of money. And the reason is that's the most you can bless somebody without them getting taxed on it. So no, I'm talking about blessing, like giving money away, right? Because legally you can give somebody 10 grand and they don't have to pay taxes on it.
And you don't have to pay tax. Thank you for telling me that. I need to know that.
As a gift. Listen to what I'm saying. As a gift. You're not paying them, but as a gift. Okay. And I think like that. Now, if you're paying them, of course, the most you can pay is like 600 or something. Anything over that, you got to get W-2s and all that stuff.
Less than 600, according to Google, in regards to the
I'm sorry, it dropped down to 6 now. If you make 6 and above, now you got to file it in your tax. Any money you make, you're technically supposed to file it.
Yeah, I Googled that this last year because I always, because I don't lie anymore because of something that happened in my past. So I don't lie. So every $25 I make, the IRS knows. But I did Google it this last year. I said, let me see because I've heard that from prominent people with titles. So I said, let me Google it. And it said, no, any money you make should be reported to the IRS.
Right,
under 600, over 600. I was like, whoop, let me keep reporting. But yes. So that's going to be my gem, is to build. Mm-hmm. Build your networks. I have people reaching out to me on Facebook and we may just have an hour conversation. They may not ever hire me, but I've given them knowledge. I've helped them build. I've helped them plant seeds that go a little farther along in their journey in regarding to building and getting to where they need to, pushing them along, just another step in their path, because, it's not all about me and you using me, but it's me making sure that I am trying to be somewhat beneficial in regards to people, that God puts in my path. So.
Oh yeah, I was messing with you, JD. But yeah. Here's the thing too, by the way, real quick, before I say my gem, I just want to say, TK, what were you watching? We don't have to get into deep, but what did you watch this week?
The only thing I really watched, other than several episodes of In the Heat of the Night, because I can't go on set yet because I'm still healing from that surgery.
Mhm.
But I'm ready to get it back on set. And I don't have a writing project probably until next week. But I watched a movie called Flower Girl.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to say every movie that comes from the content of Africa is Nollywood, because
Mhm.
Nollywood, I believe, is Nigeria. So, but it was I don't know where it was shot. It was called Flower Girl. And so I'm getting more on my Netflix feed, I guess, because I watched that other movie. What was that other movie I watched that I told you guys about? I don't know. But Flower Girl, um, it was pretty, it was like one little piece because I wanted to see the couple connect more that end up getting together. Like they didn't show them really having a connection,
Mhm.
once they had a connection. So, but that was the only thing. But other than that, it was shot fine. It was fun, it was funny. It was a little goofy at first, and I was like, "Am I gonna be able to really watch this?" And then, but it turned out to be pretty good. So it's called Flower Girl on Netflix, and I started watching Flying High or High Flying with the sports
Mm.
agent on Netflix.
Okay.
It's an Oscar-winning director or something that did it, but his camera angles and lighting, like I had to turn it off, like, and like the first scene was like 10 minutes long. It wasn't for me. It
I
wasn't
got
for
you.
me.
I
So
got
then
you.
I found Flower Girl, and that's really what I watched other than In the Heat of the Night this week, I think.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing, by the way. This week I watched Moon Knight that came out on Wednesday on Disney Plus. I watched Halo second episode yesterday.
Mhm.
It dropped on Thursday. I didn't watch it because we were watching Bel Air. Um, I watched something else because I watched some. We got off on a half day on Thursday, so I came home and I watched the movie. I can't remember what it is right this second. Oh, I watched Fast and the Furious 9.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Uh, I won't say nothing about it. If you've seen it, you know, wasn't gonna pay to go watch it, and I realized why I wasn't gonna go pay to go watch it in the
Okay.
movie theater even more. It's fun, but it's not realistic, and I get it, but there's only so much you can do with cars. But it had cool points, but it is the same movie as it has been now. So I hope I guess they'll get the 10. I actually like the Hobbs and Shaw one better. But that's just me. And but I watched Bel Air. So we watched the season finale of Bel Air.
Because
And
it's
of
eight
course,
seasons, it's 8 episodes in Bel Air.
thought it was 9 or 10. I think it's 10.
Okay. So it's still going. Okay.
It's done. This is it. So you want to go binge
So
watch it.
episode 10, yeah, because I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
binge watch
The
it because
season
I got
finale.
Beta.
Yeah. Yeah. When they went in outer space with the car, I was kind of like,
For Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Derek was like, I can see.
And
Derek,
no,
I can see your
listen,
face.
this is what I'm saying. With duct tape. Not only that, but with duct tape. So
I can see Derek's face. Some people you can kind of rate their reaction, kind of see it. Like
Derek probably felt like I felt. It's like, where y'all just gonna do this, huh? So
no, Derek's like, what the heck?
So I was like, yeah. See, Derek, I was trying to be nice, man. You didn't have to bring that up because I was like, there's only so much you can do with a car.
We pick up on people's characters and stuff, so we kind of like gauge what they would have. Man, who the hell?
So I had to clear my mind with something else because I was like, yo.
He said, with outer space in a car with duct tape, I'm like the young folks say, I'm dead.
I was like, I can't even turn it off because it's at the end of the movie. So like, I was like, yo.
He said, shout out to Marlon Wayans.
I was like, whose idea was this?
Was Marlon Wayans in number 9 too?
Nah, he was in Fresh Prince. He was in Bel Air. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's why you say shout out. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So with a rocket attached, right? With duct tape. So the windows and stuff was sealed up with duct tape, and they had duct tape for their astronaut suit. Like they didn't even use the astronaut suit. They used the same suits you go underwater with, which I could kind of understand a little bit. I could work with the scuba diving suits, the big ones with the helmet and stuff. But they used duct tape. He was like rapping, and I'm like, okay, you do know you will freeze in space, by the way. And be frozen, die off. But hey, yeah, that's what Fast and Furious did to me. So I was like, so I had to watch something else. So I started watching Boondocks and other stuff. Okay. Revisiting the other stuff because I was like, yo, I know they didn't just do this. But that was pretty much it. Of course, we watched Power Force, waiting for episode tonight. Me and the wife be up at 12:01 to watch it.
So romantic. I can't wait to be in 12:02 with my husband waiting for a show to come on.
For real, my nephew calls me. He's like, Uncle Michael, did y'all watch Power? Tiffany, get in there. She'll jump in the conversation real quick. Oh, yeah, Tommy, da-da-da. And I was like, there's your aunt, man. There's your aunt.
He was talking to me, but baby, go ahead. Go ahead.
Gorilla Tape would have been more realistic, right?
Gorilla Tape. That is hilarious.
I'm gonna tell you, I can now make a movie and put a car in space. I mean, you know,
that is crazy. Why did my screen just change?
With a rocket, with a couple rockets. That's the crazy thing. But it wouldn't explode or nothing, and then it crashes into something. Therefore, like, yo, what? Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, I am so glad I ain't paid my money to go see this because I'd have been mad. I'd have went and demanded to ticket people give me my money back. I did that. It was what movie was it? It was Blair Witch Project. I went to go see it, and like 15, 20 minutes in, I'm looking at my other boy. We're looking at each other like, dude, let's go home. And I went to the desk and said, y'all need to get my money back. I could have did this at home. So the lady was like, you okay? I said, nah, I could do this at home. I am not watching that movie. And everybody, it was good. It was good. No, it wasn't. But that's what I watched. So I hope you guys enjoy some good stuff and have fun. Yeah, I don't know how they got back to Earth. I'm still lost on that because I was trying to figure out how they got back. Or what was it that got them back? It's a space shuttle or something. I can't remember how they came back home, but okay. So my gym, I don't have a gym this week, man. Just mental health.
I'm still riding on Darrell's gym from last week, Grace to Grow. I have been preaching that to everybody in every situation all week up until last night.
There you go.
I have been on that.
You know what? Process. I still have to get back on. It's a process. And don't focus on the results. Focus on the process. You'll get the results you need. I'm still trying to watch DMZ, which is Demilitarized Zone. That's a DC comic. I definitely want to check it out. I haven't had a chance to. Oh, I did watch Young Justice, the new season. This current season, part 2 has started up again because they took a break and now they're back. So I've been watching. I watched that as well. But hey guys, as I said, process. And here we go.
That's good.
Thank you for joining us at the Black. We didn't even do the theme song today, did we?
I just thought about that.
Oh my goodness. Like we started off just boom. So I'm Michael Melvin, my host, Tamara TK Henderson. We enjoyed you guys. We appreciate your love. We're going to make sure we bring some stuff to you. We're probably going to take a break coming soon because, you know, we got to take that every few show break. It's coming around. And we'll let you know as soon as possible. But remember, be strategic, intentional, and authentic here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge, Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. There we go. Because I got it there.
Hey, Darwin.
Thank you, Darwin.
Don't forget about the YouTube channel, guys. Please go subscribe. We need 50 viewers. We need 50 subscriptions so we can start streaming live on YouTube as well.
Yes.
So like, subscribe, and share. Like,
subscribe, and share. Because we're trying to hit that YouTube. We about to go live there. Or we're trying to go live simultaneously here and YouTube. We're working on that now. So we trying to make this happen. And we're looking to bring guests on real soon because we're working on it. TK and I have been like, who we gonna get? We got this person. We need to go get this person. So we're working on some stuff. If TK reach out to people, respond, please. So we're gonna keep it moving. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us at the Black Filmmakers Lounge for real, because you guys are special to us. our Saturdays are fulfilling when we come on. We get to talk with you guys and share this knowledge and information and insight that we gain, and what we also gain with you. Now, if you're following the Black Filmmakers Lounge, make sure you follow the group page and the community, and then make sure you're following again the YouTube channel and the Instagram page and the Facebook page, everywhere we're at. And then also on top of that, make sure you're sharing this stuff to your page. Make sure you're, letting people know we exist, that we're here. That's how you can support us. And we want to keep supporting you guys as filmmakers. And again, focus on film. So much going on in the world. We get to be empowered and tell our stories. We love y'all. Thank you for joining us at the Black Filmmakers Lounge. And we'll see you next week. All right?
See you next week. Bye. Like, subscribe, share.
And that's funny. The music just went off on the stream too. It's just like, it's the first time the whole song is ever played on here.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.